What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. American Abroad here, talking to you about how to find the best motorcycle helmet for your journey. I wanted to show you how I find the best deals on my motorcycle helmets while still getting the best quality helmet that I possibly can. So if you're looking for a budget motorcycle helmet, or you're looking how to find just the best overall helmet for you and price is no object, stay tuned to the video and we'll jump into it. All right guys, so I've got one of my favorite websites pulled up. I use different websites over here in Europe. I'll use Eurobikes or FC Moto. So if you are in Europe, those are a couple of sites that you can use. But RevZilla is always kind of my go-to when I'm doing research. And if I'm going to buy something in the States and bring it over, this is the site that I use. So here, if you go to their helmet side, they've got all different types of helmets, whether you're doing dirt, dual sport, you want a modular or a full face, everything is here for you. You can also check out, if you're looking for something budget, always check out websites closeouts. You know, they've normally got some pretty good deals on here, and you still find really safe motorcycle helmets. You know, even something like this Bitwell helmet, it's pretty ugly in my opinion, and it's really cheap, but it actually has a really good crash rating. So if you wanted something like that, you know, there's nothing to snag on the outside. Of course, it's not fancy and you don't have any vents or anything, but you know, it is an option if you're looking for something more budget friendly. So I like full face helmets. I also like dual sport helmets. In the winter, I feel like full face gives me a little bit more protection against the elements. So this is kind of my overall all around helmet is a full face. Modular helmets tend to be a little bit heavier, but they do give you that versatility if you wanted to have more open face helmet. But I do find that if you're on the highway trying to ride a modular helmet, you just get that extra buffeting on the top of your head from having that chin up above your head. So that is something to think about when you're looking at a modular helmet. There's a few things that you want to see, and RevZilla does a great job at showing you this. Let's just check out this helmet. So at the bottom, there are 3 different head shapes that you want to look for when you're buying a motorcycle helmet, right? If you're a round helmet shape, intermediate head shape, or long oval head shape. And a lot of different helmets, even within the brands, will have helmets that cater to these different shaped heads. So you want to make sure that you get the helmet that's actually going to be the right shape for you, because you don't want any hot spots when you're riding down the road. A hot spot is going to be a place inside the helmet where you just feel a lot of pressure or aching over time. A lot of times people feel that right over the forehead, right up in here. And so you want to make sure that you have a helmet that is suited for your head and it's the right size. Most of the time people buy helmets that are too large as opposed to helmets that are too small. The problem is you shouldn't be able to put on a helmet and move a couple of certain ways. Let me show you what that looks like. All right, so when you're looking at a helmet, you want to make sure that it fits right. Of course, a lot of websites actually come now with guarantees where if it doesn't fit, you can send it back for free, or maybe you can pay a few extra bucks and send it back. So this helmet is definitely too big for me. You can see how easy it is to slide on. And so now, like, as you can see, I can literally just, with my fingers, I mean, if I hit one bump, my sight line is just completely jacked. So that's not good. Side to side moves quite a bit. And even in the back, you can see, like, you shouldn't be able to do that so easily with the helmet. I mean, you can see this thing just doesn't really fit me well. Most of the time people go for something that just slides on easily. And just remember as well that the pads are going to wear in as you wear the helmet over time. So you want something that fits a little bit tighter. Otherwise, you know, a couple months down the road, you're going to be unhappy with the fit of your helmet. So something that I love about the Scorpions is they do have the inflatable cheek pads. So it's got a little cushion in there that you just pump up. So if the pads do wear in over time and you don't like the fit anymore, you can literally just pump it up and get a little bit tighter fit around your face. So as you can see, this helmet, oh, you got my lav mic. So I actually have to pull the sides to get this on my head. Feels so much tighter after that other one. So as you can see, I've got a little bit of movement, you know, that's natural, but it's moving my head with the helmet. I've got almost no side to side movement. And then in the back, you know, it moves a little bit, but not much. And when I move it, it's actually moving my head. It's not moving the helmet around my head. So this helmet's actually super secure. This helmet fits me well. And even if I wanted to pump it up, I could. You don't want your sight lines to be compromised at any point in time if you hit a bump or something, because that has happened to me before as well. So something that I want to tell you guys, if you are looking at getting into motorcycling and you are going to buy a bike, but then you have no money for gear, man, wait. Don't jump in and buy a motorcycle, because basically you want to be able to buy gear here you're comfortable in. I wouldn't recommend getting a motorcycle helmet that's under $100. It's just not worth it. You're not getting the safety features, you're not getting the comfort, you're not getting the things that are really gonna make you enjoy the bike anyways. And if you're uncomfortable, that's gonna be taking your attention away from really important things while you're riding, like your safety, you know, focusing on the road. I've ridden uncomfortable and it definitely makes a difference. So when you're comfortable, you're more focused on safety, you're more focused on what's happening around you. So you wanna actually be able to enter that price point of at least $250 to $350 for a good helmet when you're jumping in. If money is no object for you, that is awesome. You can go ahead and jump into the EXO Carbon, or you can jump into something like the Arai. Shoei also makes great helmets as well. I'm kind of a fan. I've had many Scorpion helmets. This particular helmet I bought because this is the exact same helmet that the guys in MotoGP wear. It's this helmet right here. We went for the safety features of it. So if you're looking to get into motorcycle riding, make sure you can get a helmet that's actually gonna be decent for you. I wouldn't recommend jumping in if you can't afford decent gear. I'm also gonna do a video on how to pick the best motorcycle jacket for you. Of course, it's gonna be more ADV focused, but I think that's really important, right? Make sure that when you're jumping into motorcycle riding, you don't just think about the cost of the bike, also think about the accoutrements that come with it, right? You want to be able to have nice gloves, nice jacket at least, some good riding boots, and a good helmet. The majority of injuries on motorcycles actually happen from the waist down. So, you know, make sure you have good boots, make sure you have good riding pants, because that's where most of the time people are just dropping their bikes, or someone hits them at a stoplight or something and you're dropping your bike on your leg, or if you're off-roading, that's pretty typical. Coming from somebody who has broken their leg motorcycle riding, yeah, make sure you have good boots on. Okay, so something I'm gonna add in here, this is a Nex helmet, but I don't like this one in particular. It's got these little twist on and off releases, and I've had these just pop off before because they don't actually lock in place. So, you know, as you open the shield over time, sometimes it just falls off, and that's not cool, man. Like, I don't want to be driving down the highway and have this thing pop off. If I needed to open my lens and scratch my eye or something, which I've had to do before, you know, these things have come loose and just popped off. Like, that's not cool. So make sure you get something. I like on this particular helmet, it's flush, and then when you open it, got the locks down in here where you can release the shield if you wanted to do that. So just something to keep in mind when you're looking at a helmet. I know that's kind of nitpicky, but over time it's something that really has bothered me. Something I think is really important when it comes to safety is we want to see what kind of ratings the helmet has. So let's actually check out my helmet. So retails for $549 USD, a little bit less of course in euros. Great helmet, super light. Online you can see some videos of actually a plastic helmet versus a carbon helmet, and when they actually experience impact, the carbon seems to crack in a spider web-like fashion, so it separates more of the impact across a greater surface area of the helmet, which means that you're getting less force in a single spot. Of course, on plastic helmets, it seems to crack in one spot and then just kind of crack out like this, whereas the carbon spider webs out, which I liked when I was looking at helmets. My particular helmet is DOT and ECE approved. Basically just means there's two different safety certifications that it's received. ECE is a little bit better in my opinion than DOT. DOT just measures vertical force on the helmet, just kind of being dropped from one point down, whereas ECE also measures, sideways impacts and skidding impacts. So I think they do a little bit more testing in ECE, which of course I want a really safe helmet. So it's important for me to be able to do both of those. DOT I think is, in my opinion, an outdated certification. They just don't do enough anymore in DOT to really make sure that it's a safe helmet. If you're over here in Europe, ECE is necessary. If you're in the States, doesn't even matter if it's ECE approved or DOT approved, you can just wear it. So in my opinion, a helmet is a long-term investment. So when I buy a helmet, I want to make sure that I have the ability to upgrade things on it in the future. So for instance, as you buy your helmet, even if you're not looking at a comm system, you can see on my helmet, I actually do have a comm system installed on the outside here, because you want to make sure that the inside of the helmet has cutouts for the comm speakers. Otherwise, you're going to be really uncomfortable trying to fit comms in here and really frustrated. You buy a helmet where you have the capability to actually add a comm system and make those upgrades and let the helmet grow with you. especially if you're a new rider and you're not thinking about these things. If you're an experienced rider, this is probably something that you've already thought about, is field of view. You want to make sure that the vision of the helmet is really, really good. So make sure that when you're looking at helmets that you have a good field of view. I will say that if you can't afford a carbon helmet, they are so much lighter than you can possibly imagine. You also want to check out what helmet shell sizes they come in, right? How many shell sizes does that particular helmet have? Some helmets only have 2, which basically means that for small to medium and medium to large, they basically have 1 shell size. The outer layer is 1 size, and they're just putting different size padding on the inside to accommodate for different size heads. Well, that becomes an issue because, of course, it's heavier. You feel like a bobblehead when you're going down the road because the helmet doesn't actually fit you right. So you want to make sure that as you're looking for a helmet, that you get a helmet with it, in my opinion, at least 3 shell sizes is kind of the minimum. But otherwise, you're just going to kind of feel like a bobblehead going down the road because these shell sizes can be huge, and then a lot of padding to try and accommodate a smaller head, which I actually have. So I'm always looking for something with more shell sizes to give me a little bit more comfort when I'm going down the road. And on longer trips, you don't want your shoulders and your neck to start getting strained. So as light as possible is what I'm going for. I go for carbon because it's just lighter. If you go with plastic, it's totally fine. There are some absolutely incredible helmets that are still plastic. The Arai has a ton of shell sizes and it's plastic, and it's probably like the number one. The Arai dual sport helmet, I think, is like one of the best selling helmets on the market. So yeah, it just depends. Just make sure you do your research and make sure you find something with a good amount of shell sizes, at least 3. It's, of course, even though I am an adventure motorcycle rider, I do use a full face helmet. Most of my riding is on the road, so I'm okay with that. I'm looking for something that gives the most versatility. But if you're also looking for something versatile that looks very off-roady, and I think will be my next purchase, the Arai XD4 helmet. This is a gorgeous helmet, one of the top selling helmets on the market. It's very light, 3.6 pounds. And this thing is just incredible. They have a ton of shell sizes, and it's just an incredible helmet. It's super light. I've actually felt my buddy's, he has one of these, and it's very light. I would say it's even lighter than my carbon helmet, even though it's plastic, because they do have those different shell sizes. It's super comfortable. He wears it in all types of weather, and it just looks amazing. I think I would go for the black here, maybe something more matted, but I love this helmet. Looks so clean. Of course, with that, you are getting a price point of around $650, so $100 more than my Scorpion EXO R1 carbon. That is a mouthful, but it's a great helmet and has absolutely incredible reviews and great crash ratings. You're also getting a ton of ventilation in this helmet, which is super key in a helmet that you want to ride year round, especially if you live in somewhere a little bit hotter. You want that ventilation. So now, if you're wanting something a little bit more budget friendly, for my European subscribers, let's check this out. You've got MOTO card over here, and you do have the Bell MIPS option. This is going to be a little bit of a heavier helmet, but it does have that MIPS technology that we were talking about. It is DOT certified. Pretty cool. And something else that is really great that comes on these helmets, I think maybe if you pay 30 bucks more, you get the transition lenses, which is so cool. I don't know why more helmets don't utilize transition lenses, but these are amazing because I'm always having to switch out my lenses in this helmet, and it's just so annoying. So basically, a transition lens, basically you have a lens that during the daylight it gets darker, and then at night it turns clear so that you can see through it. And I don't know why more helmets aren't doing this. It would make everything lighter. You don't have any drop down screens inside that are weird or uncomfortable, or I had a helmet once that it broke, so it was always popping down by itself. I don't think that's safe. Why are we not using more transition lenses? I think this is the new wave of technology. Like, it should be standard on all helmets. It just seems safer, it's lighter. Like, let's all do transition lenses. I just think it makes sense. This rings in at about 220, 230 bucks. I think with the transition lens, you're looking at about 250, 260 USD. So keep that in mind. Let's check it out here on Revzilla as well. So for the MIPS helmet, you are looking about $229, which I think is a pretty good bargain for a good looking helmet with some updated technology in there. And then I think if you want to go up to the transition lenses in the US market, Yeah, so this helmet actually comes with the transition lens. It's $349, so I lied. It's actually a little bit more money. So you're looking at about $349, which is still, in my opinion, a great middle market helmet. You're getting something that looks great, has some newer technology in it, newer safety features, and is still pretty decently priced at $349. Of course, Scorpion does have their EXO line that is much cheaper. I would not buy used helmets because you never know. There's so much hidden in the technology of how these helmets work, and it's different for each helmet. And so if someone drops their helmet off their bike or just drops it while they're carrying it, you may not be able to see any blemishes on the outside of the helmet, but actually there's something really, really wrong with the inside that could have messed with the integrity of the helmet, which then when you crash is going to be a big problem. So I wouldn't buy any helmets used. I've done that before, so I'm preaching to the choir, and I didn't see any problems, but just to be safe, I'm not buying used helmets anymore unless I know the owner and he never took it out of the box or something like that. Scorpion actually has this option, which is kind of their dual sport helmet, and it is modular as well, which is kind of cool. For $289, you're getting pretty good value. I know this actually does have the drop-down lens on the inside, which I don't like, but it's there if you like it. You've got the beak on there, so it does look very adventure-oriented. I actually have ridden with some modular helmets on some trips, and it was really, really nice actually, but they are quite a bit heavier. You can feel the difference. So for me, light is super important because I've got my comm on there. Sometimes I have my GoPro on the front, and you start adding these things, and it's little bits here and there, but it actually adds a lot of weight. If you want something even more budget friendly, of course, you do have the Bell Qualifier, which is around 160 bucks, and that's going to be a really basic helmet for you. Of course, you can see already that it's a pretty big helmet. Those shell sizes are, oh, this one actually has 3 shell sizes. Okay, not bad. But you can see they have 3 shell sizes that are covering so many different ranges. So that's where you get the small, medium, extra small, and SM helmets. You have MD and large helmets, and you have the XL, 2XL, and 3XL. So even though they have 3 sizes, they're covering really large ranges there. So be careful when you're getting into some of that. I know that there are some even cheaper helmets. For instance, here are some helmets for 69 bucks a piece. Really, if you are buying a motorcycle and you don't have enough money to invest in a decent helmet, I would say that these helmets are not something you should buy. I wouldn't touch these helmets if I was just getting into motorcycle riding. I would say that I'm at least going to go into something, $200-300, because I want those extra safety features. I want it to feel good on my head. You want to be comfortable when you're riding, because if you're uncomfortable when you're riding, it's not just a fact of sore shoulders. It's going to be something that's taking your attention away from the other things you need to be focused on while you're riding. All right, guys, so I hope that helped you in picking the right motorcycle helmet. For me, at the moment, it is the Scorpion R1 Air Carbon, and I absolutely love this helmet. It's been a great companion over the years. So I've done a ton of research on helmets. So if you guys do have any additional comments, I'll try and answer them the best I can. Of course, I'm not an expert, but I hope that these tips help you out in buying your next motorcycle helmet. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Hit that subscribe button. We'll catch you guys on the next video. Ride safe, and we'll see you on the pavement.